America has turned apple cider vinegar into a morning ritual, a weight loss shortcut, a so-called cleanse, a quick fix for a lifestyle that never actually slows down. But beneath that simple brown bottle is a chemistry the human body doesn't forgive when it's used the wrong way. And the truth is, most people in the U.S. are using it in ways that quietly damage their throat, their teeth, their blood sugar, and even their sleep, all without realizing the connection. Because ACV itself isn't the enemy. The real danger is the collision between acid and American habits, oversized meals, late-night eating, convenience culture shortcuts, and a metabolism already fighting insulin resistance. ACV behaves differently inside a body that's stressed, inflamed, sleep-deprived, and medicated. That's why the same tablespoon that steadies one person's glucose can send someone else into a spiral of reflux, electrolyte swings, or unexplained fatigue. I've seen this repeatedly in my own clinic. Patients walking in proudly describing their healthy routine, never realizing the routine itself was eroding their teeth enamel, amplifying their medications, or spiking their cortisol at night. Not because ACV is dangerous, but because they were using it with blind trust instead of precision. And that's exactly why this video exists. Not to scare you away from ACV, but to reveal the hidden traps no label warns you about. The chemistry mistakes, the timing mistakes, the metabolic mistakes, the mouth health mistakes, and the mistakes that come from mixing ACV with the wrong drugs, the ones almost nobody talks about. Stay with me, because the first mistake is the one that does the most damage in the shortest amount of time. Mistake 1. Drinking ACV undiluted. This is the fastest way to turn a supposedly healthy habit into chemical harm. Undiluted ACV hits your throat and teeth like acid on chalk, softening enamel instantly, the very enamel that protects you from sensitivity, cavities, and nerve pain. And once enamel is gone, it's gone for good. In your throat, raw acid irritates the mucosal lining and triggers inflammation that can feel like allergies, chronic coughing, or that mysterious lump in the throat sensation people spend months trying to diagnose. Some Americans blame stress when it's really their morning ACV shot scraping the esophagus day after day. Your mouth and throat aren't built for direct acid contact, and undiluted ACV is contact at full intensity. Mistake 2. Taking ACV before bed. This one blindsides people because it seems harmless. But if you live in the U.S., where GERD and nighttime reflux rates are some of the highest in the world, ACV before bed is basically an invitation for acid creep. The moment you lie down, that diluted acid doesn't stay put. It floats upward, sliding toward your esophagus, burning tissue, and disrupting REM sleep. People wake up exhausted, blaming poor sleep hygiene, never realizing it was their 10 p.m. ACV habit triggering cortisol spikes, elevated nighttime heart rate, and micro-awakenings the brain never fully registers. ACV works with gravity, and gravity disappears the moment you lie flat. Mistake 3. Using metal bottles or containers. Many Americans use metal bottles without a second thought, but ACV is acidic enough to pull ions from unlined metal surfaces, especially cheap steel. That reaction creates microscopic metallic compounds that don't belong in your bloodstream or anywhere near your gut microbiome. They can disrupt mineral balance, irritate the stomach lining, and interfere with electrolytes. A nightmare for anyone already dealing with blood pressure issues, kidney concerns, or chronic dehydration. And the worst part? This mistake feels so innocent, people never suspect the bottle. They blame their supplements, their diet, their age. But these first 3 mistakes are only the surface. The next set doesn't just irritate your throat or your stomach. They collide directly with your metabolism, your medications, and your body's electrical chemistry. And this is where things start to get dangerous. Mistake 4. Overdosing. More than 2 tablespoons a day. Too much ACV doesn't supercharge results. It quietly destabilizes your body's mineral balance. Excess acid forces your bloodstream to borrow minerals like potassium and magnesium to neutralize the load. It's like draining your electrolyte bank to pay off a debt you didn't know you created. And in the US, with its processed, low-potassium diet, most people don't have extra potassium to spare. Overdose long enough, and you may feel heart flutters, unexplained fatigue, muscle heaviness, or irritability. That isn't aging. That's mineral depletion, the body's silent alarm system. And by the time symptoms appear, the imbalance is already in motion. Mistake 5. Mixing ACV with diabetes meds, diuretics, or heart medications. This is the mistake almost no one warned you about, yet it's the one with the highest stakes. ACV naturally slows how fast carbohydrates leave your stomach. Combine that with diabetes medications that already push blood sugar down, and suddenly you've created a double drop effect. For someone with insulin resistance, this can be helpful, but for someone on medication, it can push glucose into unsafe territory, the kind of lows that cause shakiness, sweating, brain fog, or even moments of disorientation. Now layer in diuretics, which already pull potassium out of your system. Add ACV, and you accelerate that drain, inching toward electrolyte imbalance. And if you're on heart medications, especially ones that affect rhythm, those shifts in potassium can make the electrical system of your heart more vulnerable. The problem isn't ACV. It's stacking ACV onto drugs designed to do the same job, without understanding how their effects amplify each other. Mistake 6. Using filtered vinegar instead of ACV with the mother. Filtered vinegar looks cleaner, clearer, more appealing, which is exactly why so many Americans grab it off the shelf. But the moment you remove the mother, you strip away the biological intelligence inside the vinegar, the enzymes, the natural fermentation fragments, the probiotic-rich sediment that supports gut signaling. Without it, ACV becomes just acid. No guidance, no support, no synergy with the microbiome. Your gut isn't just digestion. It's immune traffic control. It's mood regulation. It's metabolic decision-making. And when you give it filtered vinegar, you're handing it a tool with the instructions missing. That subtle shift is enough to change how your body processes the acid and how you feel afterward. Mistake 7. Drinking ACV with meals instead of before meals. Timing completely changes the metabolic effect. Before meals, ACV helps regulate how quickly glucose enters your bloodstream, smoothing the spikes that drive insulin resistance. And in a country where 3 out of 4 adults struggle with glucose control, that timing matters. But drink ACV with your meal? You've already missed the window. It's like showing up to direct traffic after the jam has already formed. Your stomach is full, the glucose wave is already rising, and ACV gets lost in the chaos. Worse, in people sensitive to acid, taking ACV with food can slow stomach emptying too much, leading to bloating, heaviness, or sugar cravings later in the day. ACV isn't a condiment, it's a timing tool, and timing decides whether it supports your metabolism or irritates your gut. Mistake 8. Brushing your teeth right after ACV. This is the mistake even the most health-conscious people make without hesitation. The moment ACV touches your teeth, that enamel softens, quietly, instantly, invisibly. Not enough to feel, but enough for a toothbrush to scrape away layers you can never replace. Brushing right after ACV is like dragging sandpaper across softened glass, and dentists across the US see this pattern every day. Patients complaining of sensitivity, staining, or thinning enamel, all while believing they're doing everything right. But enamel doesn't care about good intentions. Once it's gone, it's gone. Mistake 9. Believing ACV burns fat directly. This myth survives because it fits perfectly into American diet culture. Fast, simple, no effort results. But acid does not melt fat. What ACV actually does is influence the signals that decide how your body handles food: blood sugar stability, insulin response, appetite hormones, and gut-brain communication. Those signals can support weight loss, but they don't replace effort. And when people believe ACV burns fat, they start overdosing, skipping meals, or pairing it with sugary detox drinks that do more harm than good. Fat loss is biology, not magic, and ACV is a tool, not the fire itself. Mistake 10. Taking ACV on an empty stomach with ulcers, reflux, or a sensitive gut. This is where ACV becomes dangerous for the wrong person. Raw acid hitting an irritated stomach is like pouring lemon juice onto a wound, and Americans have some of the highest rates of reflux, gastritis, gut inflammation, NSAID overuse, and stress-related digestive issues. Instead of experiencing better digestion, these people feel chest tightness, nausea, throat irritation, or that deep ache right under the ribs. It's not ACV hurting them. It's the fragile state of the tissue it lands on. A healthy gut can handle ACV. A damaged gut can't. If apple cider vinegar came with a surgeon's instruction sheet, these 10 mistakes would be in bold on page 1. Because ACV isn't a cleanse, a detox, a shortcut, or a miracle cure, it's chemistry, and chemistry rewards precision. Use ACV correctly, and you can support steadier blood sugar, calmer digestion, smoother metabolism, and better gut health. Use it carelessly, and you erode enamel, disrupt electrolytes, clash with medications, and inflame the very tissues you're trying to heal. In the United States, most health mistakes don't come from ignorance. They come from rushing, from shortcuts, from habits done half awake and half researched. But now you understand the truth. The difference between ACV healing you and harming you isn't the vinegar. It's the method.